Hello dear friends, I Dr. Shamsher Singh welcome you all on my YouTube channel Pharma Learning. So today in this fifth part of the video, I will discuss with you that what are the other drugs which are available for the treatment of gout. So basically gout, which is a major problem, that mean where there firstly is a excessive accumulation of the uric acid. So this uric acid which is increased is responsible for increase in the accumulation of uric acid in the joints. So that means whenever the uric acid is accumulated, it is responsible for arthritis. That means whenever there will be a arthritis, so this arthritis, which is a inflammation of the joints, is responsible for creating a problem. That means there would be a inflammation and there would be a difficulty in walking and there will be a less movement of the joints. So what happened that in case of arthritis, if this uric acid is increased for a long time, this is responsible for a condition which is called as a gout, जिसको गठिया कहते हैं आप. So this gout is a major problem nowadays. So I will discuss few of the thing with you, that it is not necessary that if in your body uric acid is increased, you will always suffer from the gout. No, it is not necessary, because gout is of two types. Sometimes the uric acid in the body of the patient is increased and it has been found or analyzed or recognized by laboratory test, and then we analyze that patient was suffering from arthritis due to excessive presence of the uric acid in the blood of the patient. Now the second thing, in case of some of the patient, it has been found that they are not having a high level of uric acid, but they even suffer from the gout. That means they are asymptomatic type of the gout. So those who suffer from high level of uric acid along with the gout or a chronic arthritis, this is called as a symptomatic, and where the uric acid we cannot easily recognized by the laboratory analysis, and this type of the gout is called as a asymptomatic. So dear friends, the treatment goal in this case of gout is a three things. The first thing, either we should reduce the uric acid formation. Second thing, we should decrease its accumulation in the body. And the third thing, we will reduce the inflammation in the joints. So that means there are three things. So that's why we always prefer the choice of drug. So the choice of drug in this case depends upon the condition, that whether the patient was suffered from gout due to high level of uric acid, then the preferable agent is allopurinol. So in this case, when we say that there is a excessive uric acid in the blood, it has been analyzed by laboratory test. तो उस केस में आपको क्या करना है, then you will see that allopurinol is a preferable, followed by, if it is high, too much high, then we use a combination of febuxostat. So this allopurinol with febuxostat combination we prefer. Instead, along with the symptomatic problem, we prefer some of the glucocorticoids. And in this case, corticosteroids like cortisone, prednisolone, like that, we always prefer this drug very carefully, because the steroids are not useful in many of the conditions. Which condition? That firstly, if the patient is having a problem with the kidney, that means patient is having a inflammation in the kidney, or patient is suffering from acute kidney failure. And the third thing, if the patient is suffering from the diabetes mellitus. So the selection of the steroid is very much important, as a perspective that you should know about the condition of the patient. So in this fifth part of my lecture, I will discuss with you, because in the previous I have explained all things about the uric acid. I have explained how uric acid is formed, how it is accumulated, how you can treat without drug, and if there is a need of drug, which will be the beneficial effect, what are the mechanism of the drug, and how you can go for the drug selection. So always you should see or you should watch the previous lecture, and you should visit to Pharma Learning channel, and you should subscribe, you should like it, so that I will discuss all the things in the coming time with you, that what are the suitable treatment for the other disorders. So in this case you can see that corticosteroids which are preferred. So basically the preference of the corticosteroid like triamcinolone, so prednisolone, these are the steroids which are preferred. You know that steroid we prefer in this case, it is very common nowadays in many of the, you can say, patient, that steroids are used to reduce the inflammation. So prednisolone at a dose of 5, 10, 20 like it is preferred. But in case of chronic arthritis or a gout, we preferred 40 to 60 mg of the steroid with a dose titration from 40 to 60 mg. So that means this selection of the steroid, which is called as a corticosteroid, it depends upon the type of the patient. That means the comorbid condition of the patient, that patient should tolerate this type of steroid, because the patient should not suffer from the diabetes and should not suffer from the any case of kidney problem or in case of nephropathy. So this, in these particular conditions, it is must that you should know that how to use the corticosteroids, because the therapy with the corticosteroids can be continue not more than 14 days. And even though if you are using at a dose of 40 and 60 mg, then you should titrate your dose as per the, you can say, symptomatic relief of that particular problem. So I will tell you how corticosteroid act in your body. Basically, whenever you will see, this is your joint, joint internally is having a one of the layer which is called as a phospholipid layer. That means all our body organ or all our body parts, they contain a membrane which is called as a phospholipid membrane. Now this phospholipid membrane, due to any inflammation, is become inflamed, because whenever you will see, अगर आपने देखा हो तो in case of arthritis and gout patient के वहाँ पे inflammation रहता है joint पे. Now this inflammation is not simply, you can say कि ये ऐसी सोजिश है. This is due to the migration of some of the inflammatory cells like leukocytes, neutrophils, mast cells, macrophages, platelets, so many other cells, they transfer to that particular area. Now whenever it become inflamed, this phospholipid in the presence of enzyme phospholipase, they are converted into arachidonic acid. So this arachidonic acid is a precursor for the two enzymes. One is called as a COX, another is called as a LOX. COX indicate cyclooxygenase and LOX indicate that your lipooxygenase. So in your body there are two type of COX, COX1 and COX2. So basically COX1 is a inducible COX and COX2 is a housekeeping COX. सो इट मीन कि जो आपकी बॉडी में कॉक्स 1 का लेवल बढ़ रहा है, ये हम एनालाइज कर सकते हैं बाय टेकिंग द ब्लड सैंपल ऑफ द पेशेंट और बाय यूजिंग सम ऑफ द कॉक्स एंजाइम किट्स. तो इसके लिए किट्स अवेलेबल होती हैं, एलिजा किट्स आर अवेलेबल, सम ऑफ द अदर किट्स आर अवेलेबल, एंटीबॉडीज आर अवेलेबल. बाय यूजिंग दिस मेथड वी कैन चेक द लेवल ऑफ द कॉक्स. सो दिस COX1 वी वांट टू इनहिबिट बिकॉज इट इज़ इन्फ्लामेटरी, ये आपके बॉडी के लिए अच्छा नहीं है. बट the COX2 is better for your body. It means it is protective for your body. Now in this case, in this inflammation, there is activation of COX1. Now this COX-1 activation is responsible for the increase of prostaglandins. So prostaglandin I2, prostaglandin F2, prostaglandin E2, prostaglandin D2, prostaglandin F2 alpha. So basically these prostaglandins, there are two type of prostaglandins, which some are beneficial, some are harmful for your body. Similarly, whenever there will be activation of LOX, there will be an increase in the level of 5-HPETE, that is 5-hydroxyperoxytetranoic acid, and 12-hydroxyperoxytetranoic acid, as well as there is increase in the level of leukotrienes like leukotriene 1, leukotriene 6, leukotriene 8, leukotriene 13, leukotriene 17. So these are the inflammatory mediators. So how your corticosteroid act? They act here. They act here in the enzyme phospholipase. They inhibit this enzyme, and this whole of the mechanism is inhibited. So that means it is too beneficial that whenever your corticosteroid you will use as a add-on agent, as a combination, if your primary drug is you found is not too much effective, then basically the physician they preferred corticosteroid whenever they seen, जब वो पेशेंट में देखते हैं कि इन्फ्लामेशन बहुत ज़्यादा है, then a dose of corticosteroid is add up along with the primary therapy of the anti-gout drugs. So basically you will see if your phospholipase inhibited, arachidonic will not be formed, COX-LOX will not be activated, and all these agents will not be formed in your body. So that's why, dear friends, you can easily understand that how your corticosteroids are effective in a gout. So that means it is very basic mechanism which I have discussed with you. Now what are the other agents? That are uricosuric agents. What is called as urico mean uric acid, suric mean increase excretion. That mean if I will tell you in your body kidney contain a nephron. So this nephron you can see is of this shape, and it is having a some part which are called as a proximal, which are called as a Bowman capsule. This is called as a Bowman capsule where your fluid will be enter for the filtration. This is called as a proximal convoluted tubule. This is called as a loop of Henle. This is a distal convoluted tubule. Then there is a collecting duct. So that means whenever you will see that your urine is filtered through these part of the nephron, in this case what will happen, that whenever it transfer these channels which are called as a organic anionic transporters, they are present on your nephrons. So what they are actually, they are called as a urate transporter 1. Urate transporter 1. So what they do, suppose if you are suffering from high uric acid level, that mean uric acid आपकी बॉडी में बढ़ा हुआ है, then ये तो क्लियर है कि uric acid will move toward the kidney side. बट किडनी में क्या होता है, दिस यूरेट ट्रांसपोर्टर क्या करते हैं, दे सेंड बैक यूरेट टू योर ब्लड. इट मीन यूरिक एसिड इज नॉट एलिमिनेटेड आउट इन द यूरिन, it is reabsorbed back to your blood. So what these drug do, like probenecid, it inhibit these channels. So whenever your urate transporter, organic anionic transporters are inhibited, what will happen, this uric acid will move through this type of the nephron and it will move out in the urine. So this is called as a uricosuric mechanism. So these are uricosuric agents. So now the question is, in which case these agents are preferred? These agents are preferred in case of chronic gout, where the physician found that the patient is having a high level of uric acid, and if we are using a uric acid synthesis inhibitor, it is not reducing. तो वो एलोप्यूरिनोल दे रहा है, फिवॉक्सीस्टेट दे रहा है, उसने कॉर्टिकोस्टेरॉइड भी देख लिया, कॉल्चिसिन उसने पहले ट्राई करके देख लिया इनिशियल टाइम पे, तो उसका यूरिक एसिड बॉडी में कम नहीं हो रहा. इस केस में फिर डॉक्टर प्रोबेनिसिड को प्रेफर करता है, सो दैट आई विल ट्राई दैट दिस यूरिक एसिड विल बी एलिमिनेटेड आउट फ्रॉम द बॉडी ऑफ द पेशेंट. नो बेसिकली दिस टाइप ऑफ द एजेंट, दे आर easily absorbed because of their high lipophilicity, good plasma protein binding, and good T half, which is from 6 to 8 hours. So that mean some of the problem with the probenecid are there. Around 20 to 27% of the patient, they suffer from dyspepsia. This is a problem with the GIT tract, digestion of the food. So in this case, what will happen if the patient is suffering from dyspepsia, you are giving a probenecid, what will happen? There will be a continuous peptic ulcer formation. क्यों? क्योंकि उसका GIT tract जो है वो प्रोबेनिसिड ने डिस्टर्ब कर दिया. जब प्रोबेनिसिड ने डिस्टर्ब किया, देन व्हाट विल हैपन, उसके पेट में क्या होगा, GIT ट्रैक में पेप्टिक अल्सर फॉर्मेशन हो जाएगा ड्यू टू इंक्रीज इन द पेप्सिन सिक्रीशन. सो secondary some of the other complications are skin rashes, hypersensitivity, but they are rare as compared to dyspepsia. However, if you will use a toxic dose, then it is having a effect on your body, that respiratory problem could be there and patient might suffer from the convulsions. So this is the effect that whenever you will prefer, I have discussed with you कि probenecid को हम start करते हैं 0.25. So probenecid is a second line drug because first line drugs are allopurinols which are प्यूराइन ऑक्सीडेज इनहिबिटर. तो वो ऑक्सीडेज इनहिबिटर है, xanthine ऑक्सीडेज इनहिबिटर है. व्हाट दे डू, दे रिड्यूस द synthesis of the uric acid. So we start probenecid at 0.25 mg BD 2 times in a day, morning and evening, and we increase its dose up to 0.5, you can say, gram BD 2 times in a day. So what is the effect? That means 0.25 gram to 0.5. So this is the dose which is selected. Now probenecid is basically ineffective in some cases if the patient is having a renal failure problem. So उस केस में आपको प्रोबेनिसिड को अवॉइड करना पड़ेगा, अदरवाइज इसका इफेक्ट आपकी बॉडी में नहीं आएगा बिकॉज इट्स प्लाज्मा प्रोटीन बाइंडिंग विल बी रिड्यूस्ड. Now secondary hyperuricemia, allopurinol is preferred if you can say cancer patient is having a hyperuric level. The second drug which is very useful is a febuxostat, which is available in the market, allopurinol in combination with the febuxostat, and these are the first line therapy for the treatment of the gout, and prefer before probenecid. They are preferred before corticosteroids and after colchicines because colchicine can prefer within 48 to 70 hours. If the patient will respond well, then colchicine reduce the inflammation. Now how febuxostat act? It is a non-purine xanthase inhibitor. इसका मतलब ये allopurinol की तरह काम तो करता है, but it is a non-purine. It is not a purine. Allopurinol structure is like a purines. Purinol. So it contains structurally purines, but febuxostat structurally do not contain purine moiety. But even though it is a oxidase inhibitor, what it do? It inhibit the xanthine oxidase enzyme, which converts xanthine into uric acid. So this uric acid conversion is inhibited. So whenever it is inhibited, always we prefer this drug in combination with allopurinol. So might be some of the ADR are there, but they are very rare, like liver function and liver activity can be reduced. So that's why whenever you patient undergo febuxostat therapy, we always check the liver function test. So we always perform the SGOT, SGPT analysis so that you can detect that whether person will not suffer from the excessive liver failure. That means liver problem should not be increased. So there are some drug interactions. So the drug interactions are common with many of the drugs, like cholesterol inhibitory drugs which lower the cholesterol. They are atorvastatin, fluvastatin. They interact with your anti-gout drugs like allopurinol and other antiarrhythmic drug like digoxin because they are having a narrow therapeutic index. And if you will give a digoxin along with these type of the drug, it produces toxicity. They are related to your heart, they are related to your kidney also. Anti-HIV drugs, so because you know that anti-HIV drugs, which are the drug which suppress your immune system, so immunosuppressants are having a interaction with this type of the agents. So the particular problem with these agents are serious muscle damage, because you can know or understand that colchicine, which is a first initial drug for the gout or inflammation in the joint, it also causes muscular damage, myopathy. So that's why the another interactions are there. Antifungal drugs increase the concentration of the colchicine. Why? Because the antifungal drug increase the CYP-A4 enzyme level, which is a cytochrome P4A4. If the level of cytochrome PA4 is increased, then it increase the metabolism of this colchicine. Increased metabolism of colchicine is responsible for its toxic effect in the body. Then there are some calcium channel blocker like verapamil. They are responsible for the stomach pain, diarrhea and vomiting. So dear friends, this was my last video of the gout. In the coming videos, I will discuss with you about the practical series, in which I will share with you that how you can perform many of the practical during B form, M form, or during your research work using a rodents as well as using a zebrafish. So in these videos I will discuss with you a novel apparatus which you can use at your own institutional levels. So you must subscribe, like and share this Pharma Learning channel. You all are welcome and thank you very much.